friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through, that I'll be standing.
What's up, YouTube family? If you see the title, then you know that this is not gonna be a sweet, great story. It is a pretty sad story. And excuse me if I happen to start crying, break down in mid-sentence. I'm using this as a therapeutic way to kind of not let go, because I don't think you can ever let go of a situation like this, but just to use it as a therapeutic outlet to help me each day and every day just come to grips with this person no longer being here on earth with us. So I'm gonna start from the very beginning of how I found out the news and what took place next. I was at my son's football game, and we were getting our seats out ready to sit down and enjoy my son practicing. And I get on Facebook and I see the first post that I see on there is from my cousin. And he, you know, I never really pay attention to their posts because they're always talking about crazy stuff. And it just so happened, this post, you know, it's crazy because I read it word for word, and I read it so many times that I was like, what does it mean? You know, like I was in shock, really. And so once I read it, it said, my brother is gone. And, you know, I immediately went into thought, like, he's joking. Like, what are they talking about? So I commented on the post and I was like, what the F is going on? I didn't know what brother he was talking about because he has two brothers, and I didn't know, you know, the full situation. I didn't know if they were just playing. So, 1 second or 2 seconds later after I leave that comment, I get a phone call from my other cousin, and she calls me, you know, hysterically crying over the phone, and I can't really understand her. And, you know, finally she can make out what she's trying to tell me, and she says, you know, Peanut's gone. And I was like, what do you mean Peanut's gone? Like, what happened? Like, what are you talking about? Where did he go? And she was like, he died today. He died at 3 o'clock. And, you know, my heart immediately like sunk into my chest. And I had to get up from where I was because, you know, the tears, they just started rolling down my face, and I could not stop crying, and I did not want these people to look at me. Mind you, I had a full face of makeup on that immediately came all the way off once practice was over, and I was trying to stop myself from crying. And so I was on the phone with my cousin, and she's telling me, she was like, you know, he died at 3 o'clock a.m. in a motorcycle accident, and that's really all the information she gave to me. And 1 second to 10 seconds later from being on the phone with her and her telling me all this stuff, I get another call. It's from my cousin who posted that post, who's the brother to Peanut. His name is Larry, and he calls me and he's crying. And at this point, I'm hysterically crying. We're all hysterically crying. And, you know, he tells me, he goes, you know, we had to go up to the police department to confirm, but it's him. It's him. And he was coming home, and he was maybe a block away from home, and there was a hill, you know, that was just too far up, and he thought he had it, and he didn't. Course, Peanut. And you know, as he's explaining this to me, I'm just trying to figure out, you know, I keep saying why. And of course my cousin Peanut, he was fearless. He was always that way. Mind you, we grew up together, you know, it was always me, my sister, and my two cousins. And I think it's because we were all within the same age bracket that we hung out that way and we were tight. And so when I got that phone call, it was like one of those things where you're in disbelief. And I have never experienced a loss so close to home. So I was not, first of all, I did not expect this phone call on a Friday. Second of all, I wasn't ready to, I didn't know how to process the information that I had just been given. So, you know, he tells me he's got to call me back after he gets done telling me what happened. And I immediately call my sister because I'm like, my sister's in Cleveland. She probably doesn't know. So I call my sister and she's about to board a flight and come. I don't know if she was coming home or if she was going to Cleveland. I'm not really sure which one it was. So she couldn't really hear me on the phone. And I was also crying so bad, so loud, hysterically, like I said, that she could barely understand me. So when I finally kind of said the words out, I was like, Peanut's gone. I did not, for some reason, could not say that word. You know what I mean? And she did not understand me when I kept saying Peanut's gone. So I was like, Peanut died today. I just said it out, like, I just got really mad, really loud. Still crying, still tears rolling down my face. And she finally understood me. And she started crying. And then, you know, we were crying on the phone together. And then she was like, let me call you right back. So I hang up with her. She calls her brother, my other cousin, and he already knows about the situation. And it was like one of those things that you don't plan for. You don't think it's gonna happen to your family. You know, and then you just get this call and, you know, this individual's not with us anymore. And it was like, what in the world? So that happened. And let me tell you what happened to him. So he was coming home and he was maybe 2 blocks away from his house where he was gonna be pulling up at. And where he was driving down, so it goes down straight, but there is a hill that's pretty high. And then it's like a little small, something little small there, but right when you get over the hill. So we assumed, Peanut, we assumed that he was coming down the hill pretty fast and he must have hit that little piece, this very small piece, and he was flying in the air. I think what broke my family's heart the most, well, mine, was that even though he had flipped and he had hit the back of his head because he did not have his helmet on, he still got up and he tried to fight for his life. He was only 23 years old. You know, think of yourself being 23 and you are fighting, you're walking. He walked 100 feet from where the motorcycle had originally thrown him. And he walked. And his mother asked, how did you find my baby? And she said that he was laid down on his back. And he was in a position that basically said, like, take me, Lord, take me. I'm done fighting. I want to go, you know. And he had the back of his head had to be sewn together. So we're assuming that, of course, it was head trauma. And of course, body trauma inside, internal bleeding. When I went to go visit his site, the night of his funeral, you could still see blood and scrapes from when the motorcycle scraped the ground, and it's one of those things where you wish it on nobody. Nobody. And we went to his wake, and it's like it all happened so fast. We all had to say goodbye so fast. I was like, okay, can we just slow down time? Can we just stop here, and can I just stare at him and take in the fact that this is my last time that I'm ever going to see him in this flesh, in this body, and this is the last time. And now I see why they have a wake and then they have a funeral, because you need that. You need both days. You need both days to really say goodbye to somebody. And to be honest, I don't think you really ever are okay with that goodbye. I don't think that is that goodbye. I think it's more so, I'm gonna see you later. And it hurts so much because he was such a good person to so many people. And if you would have been there at his funeral, he had so many people there at his funeral, and from all demographic. I mean, white, Mexican, black, Chinese, Arabian. I mean, I seen everybody, and it was so many people. It looked like a church service. I couldn't even believe that I had to say goodbye to someone that I thought we were gonna have forever with. When you don't expect this person's life to be taken, you take for granted some time that you could have spent with that person. You take for granted the I love yous and the conversations. You guys know I'm a business owner. I own my own insurance business. And he was the first person. He was one of the first few people that started with me when I did start my insurance business. He picked me up immediately, just like that. No problems, no worries. I trust you. I had him. And he called me for every insurance need that he had or he needed. No matter the question, he just always called me. And I loved him for that, because he trusted me to have the answers to the questions that he had. I can still remember that last conversation, and at the end, I remember telling him, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I wish I could do it, that entire conversation over again, and tell him from the beginning all the way to the end, you know, I love you. You know, we love you. People are here and we love you and we want you here. It's just like a nightmare that you cannot wake up from. It's one of those things that crosses your mind every hour of the day. And I don't know if I'm more so thinking like, you know, where did you go, you know? I'm just like, you know, okay, you're not here, so where did you go? And it's one of those scary things where you're hit with reality and you're like, okay, it's not about name brand, it's not about titles, it's not about what you have and how much of it you have. It's about your children, your legacy, what you leave behind. You know, you're gonna be here one day and you're gonna be gone the next. And we all have an expiration date. You know, we all have that date that's gonna be our last breath, our last day. And I don't wanna waste another day worrying, stressing, even thinking about anything negative, anything hurtful, spiteful. I want to fill my heart with love, and I want to be around people that love me. And I want to be that person that shows that love and spreads that love, so people know that they're not alone. People know that they have people out here that love them, regardless of the situation, regardless of what you've gotten yourself into. You know, people love you for you. So, this is one of those things that I wasn't really sure if I wanted to share with you guys, but at this point, it's one of those things that, in the first time in my life, I don't have the answer to. I don't know how to move past death. It's got me so shook that I'm like, oh my God, I've got to move closer to my mom, because my mom is my world. And if my mom was to leave this earth tomorrow, oh my God, you know, like, what? Like, what have I been doing with my life? Why am I so far away? Why am I so to myself? Why am I just in a bubble and locked in? And when did I become that person, you know? And I made a promise to my cousin when I saw him in his casket. I'm on the scene at every event, every situation. Call me, invite me, I'm there. I told my family that, I meant that. I've been doing that ever since. I'll never let something like this happen again. I'll never feel any kind of regret that you cannot take back. It is what it is, and you cannot take it back. And I'll never, ever have that again for anybody else in my family, anybody else, because I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be right there. And that's my promise. That is my promise. I can't even begin to fathom what it must have been like for the love of his life to no longer get to see her husband, to no longer get to see her boyfriend, the love of her life, the person that made her the happiest. I can't even begin to fathom my aunt who lost her son. And it's crazy because the day before he died, or not the day before, hours before he died, he had texted his mother, he texted his brother, he texted the love of his life. And everybody kind of took that as a way of saying that I love y'all. I'm leaving this earth in 30 minutes. And I'm here. And I'm here. And I love y'all. And just watching them break down, it killed me, because you're just like, this individual, they're gone. I mean, they're just gone. And they're not coming back. And like I said, I have problems with coming to the realization of that. And I'm here telling my story because I need help. I need help with learning how to move forward after you've lost someone like a brother to you, after you've lost a family member. This won't be my first loss. And I think that's the hardest part about this all, is that you will lose again and again and again. And I need the answers on how to keep going when you're just kind of like, for what? You know, why? We've all got to go. Why? I've never been faced with this before. This is a true challenge for me. And I never would have thought that God would have hit me with this kind of challenge in 2019. But it's definitely something that is a challenge. And each day, it's so and so. Some days are better than others. Some days, I don't really think about him as much. And then other days, it's like the only person I think about, But I wanted to share with you guys why I went MIA, why I stopped posting for a minute. That's why we lost somebody. And I'm gonna put just something at the end here that's a tribute to him. Because we love and we miss you dearly. And I hate that this happened. I really, really do. And I'm really trying not to cry. I'm sorry. But it happened. It's happened. And if you guys can comment and help me share your stories with me, put in there how long it's been since that person's been gone. Because I'm just like, you can never move past these things. How can anybody continue life regularly when they've lost somebody so close to home? It's like one of those things where you're just like, you kind of get a little scared because reality finally hits you that nothing is forever. And that right there is what we mean by nothing is forever. Everybody has an expiration date. And if I've learned one thing from this entire thing, is that the most important thing to do is to make sure that inside and out, you're a great person. Just a great person, so you know where you're going. I listened to a Beyonce song, and it's called Heaven Couldn't Wait for You. And it is truly my song to him. Every time I listen to it now, I'm gonna think of him. And he was just such a great person that just did not deserve to leave so soon. And I hope that we'll cross paths again. Maybe not in this life, but in another life. Because I'm not sure how all this works. I'm just playing the game. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the tribute.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling stronger. With small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken. The love will never get lost. And when brotherhood come first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn, and that line is what we reach. So remember me when I'm gone. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go. And every road you take will always lead you home. promise you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.